Jeff Chandler for the Events Calendar. In this video, we're going to look at the basics of translations. In the end, you should know the different types of translation files, how they're used, and where to locate them. Our plugins, like many other WordPress plugins, include translation files that help translate it for other languages. We rely heavily on folks from the community to provide us with translations because, frankly, we don't speak every language. While the files are helpful, they may not always be complete. Perhaps the person who started the translation file didn't complete all of it for one reason or another. In these cases, the translation files are more of a starting point than they are a final solution. Translations usually consist of three types of files. The first is a .pot file. This file is the foundation for all of the translations in a plugin. It contains translatable strings, which is a fancy way of saying it contains words and phrases that can be translated. This file isn't needed for the translations themselves to work, it merely serves as a blueprint for the translations. The second file is the .po file. A PO file is based on the POT file. What it does is it takes all of the translatable strings that are defined in the .pot file and allows us to provide translations for each string. In fact, there's a free app called Poedit that makes this process pretty painless. In fact, if you open it up, this is what Poedit looks like. So you would open up the .po file and start entering translations. Now there's a .po file for each translated language. The more files included in the plugin, the more translations that are available to use. The more complete the files are, the more coverage you get with the translation. And the third file is a .mo file. It's not nearly as reader-friendly as the .po file. That's because it's what WordPress uses to convert the translated strings in the .po file into the text that is displayed on screen. By default, the translation files are located in the plugin folders. For example, the translation files for the events calendar can be found in /wp-content /the-events-calendar /lang. Translation files always be located in the lang folder? No. It might be /language or /translations. It could be whatever. It's totally up to the developer. Now that's great for flexibility, but that means locating the files can be inconsistent between plugins. You can edit the .po file for a translation right there in the plugin, and while that's legit and it works, it means you'll lose your work the next time the plugin updates and you install it. A better place to keep your edited translation files is /wp-content /languages /plugins. That way your translations not only override the ones in the plugin, but they'll be left intact if the plugin happens to update later. The event slugs for your calendar's URLs are controlled via settings under Events, Settings, General, Viewing. The URLs will always use the slugs that are defined there, even if you are using a different language for your site. Now the default slugs are in English. If you switch your site to a different language, you probably also want to change the slugs to be in that language as well. As you can see here, the events URL slug and the single event URL slug, that's where you would change those into the preferred language. For more information about translating the events calendar or just learning the basics of translations, we highly recommend that you read the Translation Basics Knowledge Base article, which will be linked to in the video description below.